Hello friends, welcome to next lecture in kinematics of machines. So in today's lecture we'll be seeing the classification of gears. So here the gears are classified according to their relative positions of their shaft axis. So to know what is this classification, so please stay tuned with this video lecture. Before we begin with the lecture, I request you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not yet subscribed. Please like our Facebook page, Mechanical Engineering Tutorials. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. The links are in the description below. So friends, let's begin with the lecture. So friends, based on the relative positions or according to the relative positions of the shaft axis of the gears are classified into parallel shaft, intersecting shaft and skew shafts. So in parallel shafts we have spur gears, then spur, rack and pinion, we have helical gears and we have double helical gears in the parallel shaft arrangement. In the intersecting shaft, we have straight bevel gears, we have spiral or helical bevel gears, and we have Z-roll bevel gears. So we'll see what are these Z-roll bevel gears. They are similar to this helical bevel gears. So when we take up this topic in this lecture, we will see in detail what is the Z-roll bevel gears. In the skew shafts, here the axes are neither parallel nor intersecting. Such type of shaft axes are called as skew shafts. So here we have crossed helical or spur gears, then worm and worm wheel and hypoid gears. So in this lecture we will be seeing one by one what are these types of gears. So friends, this is the general classification of gears according to the relative positions of their shaft axis. So let us start with what are spur gears. So here this is a pair of mating spur gears which you can see here in this figure. So here both the axes of the shafts are parallel. So this is one axis, this is the second axis. So this is the axis of the shaft on the pinion and this is the axis of the shaft on the gear. So in the previous lecture we have already seen the smaller gear is called as the pinion and the larger wheel is called as the gear. So you can refer to the introduction to gear in the YouTube card which will appear on the top right corner. So here the gear teeth are straight along the length and are parallel to the axis as you can see in this figure. Hence, they are not subjected to axial thrust due to the tooth load. Spur gears can have both external and internal teeth. So you can see this in the figure. So this is the spur gear with external teeth on the pinion and external teeth on the gear. Whereas here we have the spur gear with the internal teeth. There are external teeth on the pinion, but on the gear we have the internal teeth and the pinion meshes internally with the gear and this forms the internal gear teeth spur gear. So if you see the efficiency of this particular gear pair, it is around 98% to 99%. So this is about the spur gears. Next we shall see the rack and pinion, which is again slight modification of spur gears. So in the rack and pinion, again we have a rack and a pinion arrangement as you can see, and the smaller gear is called as the pinion and the larger wheel as we have discussed is called as gear. But here if the larger wheel has an infinite radius or diameter, it becomes as a rack as you can see here. So again it is a spur rack is a straight sided gear and can be considered as a special case of spur gear having infinite diameter. So gear will be having an infinite diameter, so it will be almost a straight line, and to this there is a meshed pinion which forms relative motion with each other. So the common application of this arrangement is transmitting rotary motion into linear motion and vice versa. So this is usually used in the steering column. So the steering column in an automobile is connected to the axle. As you rotate the steering, there has to be a linear motion of the axle wheel so that the vehicle can turn either to the right or the left. So it is used in the steering assembly of automobiles. So this is the spur, rack and pinion type of gear arrangement. We shall see now the next type of gear. Coming to next is the helical gears. So in helical gears, again this is also similar to the spur gear, but the only difference is that the teeth are not parallel to the shaft axis either on the pinion or on the gear. So here you can see there is a pinion and there is a gear. If you see the teeth angle, they are inclined or non-parallel to the shaft axis either for the pinion or for the gear. And this angle made with respect to the shaft axis, we call it as the helix angle. So here in helix gear, the teeth are at a helix angle alpha, with respect to the axis of the gear. So this figure shows a pair of opposite hand helical gear in a mesh. The reason for the motion to be transferred, the angle or the helix angle of the gear as well as the pinion should be opposite to each other. Then only the meshing happens and the motion gets transmitted. So here at the beginning of the engagement, the contact occurs only at the point of the leading edge of the angled surface of the teeth. As gears rotate, the contact extends along the diagonal line across the teeth. So from here, the contact goes on extending diagonally along the line of the teeth. As gears rotate, the contact extends along the diagonal line across the teeth. Thus, the load application is gradual and which results in low impact stresses and reduction in noise compared to the spur gears, and this is why helical gears are widely used. Also, helical gears are used in high-speed applications than the spur gears and have larger load carrying capacity. Also, helical gears are subjected to axial stress or axial thrust due to the tooth load. So here, because of this inclination, there will be an axial thrust towards this side for the pinion and towards right side for the gear. So this axial thrust is the major drawback in helical gear. So to overcome this axial thrust in the helical gears, there is a slight modification in this helical gears, and that forms the next type of gears. So we shall see the next type of gear. So to overcome this axial thrust, two helical gears are combined together forming a double helical gear. So here these are formed by joining two helical gears of identical pitch and diameter but of opposite hand on the same shaft. So now if you take the shaft of this gear, so there are two helical gears with having opposite hand. So if this makes the right hand inclination, the teeth of this wheel makes the left hand inclination, and thus together they are combined to form a single gear wheel. Also the same is done on the pinion. What happens with this is the axial thrust gets nullified on the gear as well as on the pinion due to this opposite hand of the same shafts. So these two sets of teeth are often cut on the same gear blank. Usually on the same gear blank the teeth are cut, and it is not that two wheels are attached together. The axial thrust that occurs in the single helical gear is eliminated in double helical gears. Hence, no thrust bearings are required when we are making use of the double helical gears. But if single helical gear is used, then the thrust bearings are to be used to handle the axial thrust which get developed during working condition. So they are also called as herringbone gears. This is very important. This modification of helical gears, that is double helical gear, they are called as herringbone gears. And these are used in very high speed applications with very less noise compared to the helical gears. So this is about the first part of the classification, that is parallel shafts. So next we shall see gears with intersecting shafts. So unlike the parallel shaft arrangement, now we have the intersecting shafts. So here if you see, the axis of one shaft and the other shaft is usually 90 degrees to each other and they intersect at a point. So a rotation in horizontal can be transferred to rotation in vertical direction while making use of a special type of gear arrangement. We call it as straight bevel gears. So in this type of gearing, the axes are intersecting at 90 degrees to each other and are known as straight bevel gears. This 90 degrees of axis, so this 90 degrees of axis intersection is known as the shaft angle. So bevel gears are based on rolling cones. So rolling cones are those cones in which one cone axis is horizontal and the other cone axis is vertical, and when they rotate, the motion is transferred from horizontal cone to vertical axis and the vertical axis to horizontal axis. So this way in the cones, and on these cones when the teeth are cut, they form the bevel gears. So they are based on rolling cones with set of teeth on them. So the teeth are straight but the height of teeth gradually decreases and the sides are tapered. So the sides are tapered so that when all lines are extended, so when all these lines are extended, they meet at a common point on the axis called as pitch cone apex. So the lines of the both the bevel gears, they combine and meet at a single point on the vertical axis as well as horizontal axis, and this point is known as pitch cone apex. So at the beginning of the engagement in bevel gears, they make a line contact similar to the spur gears. So the contact will be usually at this position. So they make line contact similar to spur gears, and they are used in differential mechanism of or in automobiles. So for example, if this is the wheel axis of an automobile, say rear wheel axis, and this axis is on a shaft which is directly connected to the engine and the gearbox or the transmission shaft. So this rotation will make the wheels to rotate due to this type of gear arrangement or the bevel gears. So this is about the straight bevel gears. So next we have is the spiral or helical bevel gears. So unlike in the straight bevel gears, as we had the teeth cut as a straight line, here the teeth will be slightly parallel and makes some inclination with the horizontal axis. So here in this type of gearing, the teeth are angled with respect to the axis, that is, the teeth are curved in the shape of spiral so that the contact between the intersecting or intermeshing teeth, so here intermeshing teeth, begins gradually and continues smoothly from one end to another. So again it is analogous to helical gears. So initially there is a point contact, and that point contact, the contact begins gradually till there becomes a complete contact between the teeth. So if you see in the top view of this arrangement, so this will be the position of the teeth. So on the wheel which is having the vertical axis, so if this is the vertical axis, there will be this arrangement of the teeth everywhere on this gear, as well as on the horizontal axis wheel, this way will be the arrangement of the teeth. So it makes some angle with the axis of that teeth. So this is about the spiral helical gears, and there is some slight modification done by Gleason's Works USA, and they have patented this design, and that modification we call it as the Z-roll bevel gears. So let us see what is the difference between the helical bevel gear and the Z-roll bevel gear. So you can see the basic difference here. This is the helical bevel gear and this is the Z-roll bevel gear. So they are special forms of spiral or helical bevel gears with curved teeth and having 0 degrees mean spiral angle. That is, there is some inclination with respect to this line over here, but again when it comes to an end, it will again come and meet this line which comes from the center. So here if you see the mean angle, that will be 0 degrees with the axis. The same will be on the gear wheel or on the pinion, which is on the horizontal, and this will be the teeth arrangement on the vertical axis. So this modification compared to this type of inclination of the teeth, it is called as Z-roll bevel gears, and this has more load carrying capacity compared to the normal helical bevel gears, and also these are used in more high speed application compared to spiral or helical bevel gears. So as I said, this was patented by Gleason Works from USA. So this is about the spiral or helical bevel gears. Next, from the skew shaft type of gears, we have crossed helical or spiral gears. So if you see in this particular figure here, so this is one axis of the gear and the second axis of the pinion. Both the axes are not parallel to each other and neither they are intersecting to each other. Such type of axis we call as skew axis. So here these shafts are skew shafts. So there is pure rolling contact and is not possible unlike parallel and intersecting shafts. So the action of crossed helical or spiral gear consists primarily of screwing or wedging as a resultant high degree of sliding on both the flanks. So this type of contact will make a twisting force acting at the point where both the teeth mesh, and this creates the sliding on the flanks of both the gear as well as the pinion. So there is a point contact between the mating teeth and which limits the load carrying capacity of this gearing. So unlike other gears, if there was a line contact or a surface contact, it would carry more load, but in this case, since there is a point contact between the pinion and the gear, this has a very less load carrying capacity. So this is about the crossed helical or spiral gears. So there is some modification to this and we get the next type of gear arrangement in this skew shafts. So the next type is the worm and worm wheel. So here you have the wheel and this is the worm. So in the worm gears, the axes are non-intersecting and the planes containing this axis are normally at right angles to each other. So this will be the axis of the wheel, which is in the direction of this pen, and this will be the axis in the direction of the pen of the worm. So if you see here, both these axes are in different planes, are at 90 degrees to each other. So here the gear wheels are cut in the shape of the screw on a shaft, and that will be a worm, and you have a normal gear over here as the wheel, and as this wheel rotates there will be linear motion, or this wheel or these teeth tend to mesh with this gear wheels at this point, and there will be a circular motion along this horizontal axis due to rotation of this wheel. So here this is a special case of crossed helical gear where the shaft angle is at 90 degrees. So this is about the worm and worm wheel type of gear. Type of gear in the skew shaft is the hypoid gears. So here hypoid gears are similar to the spiral bevel gearing but have non-intersecting axes. So if you see in the top view, in the front view, it looks like the normal bevel gear with the vertical and horizontal axis intersecting at this point. But if you see in the top view, if this will be the axis of the gear, the axis of the pinion will be at some offset when compared to the axis of the gear. That is, these two axes, they are perpendicular to each other but they don't intersect at these 2 points. So here the planes containing these axes are perpendicular to each other. So the teeth in mesh have the line contact in hypoid type of gears. So these are the gearing systems with skew shafts. Apart from these classification, we have some special types of gears. So let us see this. The special types of gears are the Coniflex bevel gear. So again, this is some modification done in the bevel gear. So you get this Coniflex bevel gear. We have crown or face gears. We have spiroid gears, beveloid gears, helican gears, planoid gears, and reversicle bevel gears. So these are special types of gears apart from the basic classification which we have seen in this lecture. So friends, that's all for today's lecture about the classification of gears. So you can click the links in the description for the animation of these different types of gears. So I have put those links from the website on the internet for which the animations are available. So you can just click on those links and refer to how these gears work. So if you have liked this explanation, please like and share this video with your friends. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and please follow us on Twitter and Instagram. The links are in the description below. So thank you very much, friends.